Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, friends, wherever you're watching from. It remains my prayer that God is being faithful to you and yours. Thank you for joining me once again on our journey exploring the fruit of the Spirit. And we are reading Galatians chapter 5, 22 and 23. And this far we've learned that the fruit of the Spirit is love, it is joy, it is peace. And today we're looking at the fourth component of that nine-part fruit, and it is long suffering. Now, do you know that as God's children, we are called to suffer long? We are called to be patient, to endure, to stay steadfast on the journey. Now, when you look at it closely, you realize that this is the character of God. It is God alone who has suffered long to save people. And He is saying here, for my children, those that are connected to me, they ought to also possess the fruit of patience. We ought to be like God in our temperaments. We ought to be like God in our decision making. We are not supposed to be an impulsive people. Unfortunately, sometimes we react worldly. We are reactive when we make decisions, reactive when we are dealing with people. Just notice, when was the last time you were actually patient with others? How patient are you when you're in a queue? I put it to us that most of us struggle with that. But God's children, we are called to be patient in every circumstance. Some people have actually walked away from God because they felt God did not answer on time. There are people that when life is on a mountaintop, they love the Lord. When it goes in the valley, they're not patient for that. We fail to recognize that, every terrain that we walk on as God's children, we must walk with the Lord. Sometimes we are in the valley. Sometimes we are in the desert. Sometimes we are on a green grass. Sometimes we are uphill, sometimes downhill. But God's children are to manifest patience on every terrain. So Hebrews chapter 12 verse 2 says that, let us run our race with endurance, with patience. Life is not meant or supposed to be easy. Christ did not promise that. He didn't say it is going to be a bed of roses. We must understand that even Christians also go through some hard times. But this is the thing we know, that we do not walk on any terrain without the good shepherd. We know that we do not go anywhere without God guiding us, and therefore we must wait upon the Lord. That is patience. In Romans 12:12, it says, be patient in tribulations. We are called to remain steadfast, even when life does appear like it's physically strenuous, when it appears like it's taking everything out of us emotionally. When we are tempted and tried, we ought to remain patient. Friends, sometimes God allows for us to be put in the fiery furnace. Sometimes He allows us to be thrown in the lion's den. But you see, He does not leave us there alone. He simply is showing us that we can go through that experience and come out of it unscathed. God is faithful and God is able. So in Hebrews 10:36, it says, you have need of endurance. For after you've done the will of God, then you will receive the reward. Friends, God has set a reward for us. And to get to the end, we must be willing to go through every situation, patiently waiting on the Lord, knowing that God does not leave nor forsake His own children. And so it's not an option to have this fruit. It is needful for us to have the fruit of patience.